Hey everybody, it's Titi Torres, and we are back with another episode of I Still Love Her, the podcast, with our host, Kendra G. What's up, Kendra?
Hey, I'm not the host. You're the host.
Well, we all are hosts.
Okay.
We all are hosts. I love to introduce everybody as hosts because we're equally hosting.
Okay.
And my girl, Ivy Rivera. What's up, Ivy?
What's up, y'all?
Hey,
all y'all looking fabulous.
Girl, this is my makeup from last night.
No, listen, I gotta put y'all on. I learned there's a Zoom airbrush. There's a Zoom airbrush. You gotta go to settings, and you could put it on like a filter. That's why I look so clear. I got a little bit of makeup on, but really it's the Zoom filter I'm using.
Yes, Zoom filter. Get into it.
I slept in this makeup last night, by the way. I had a baby shower to go to last night, and I had my makeup done, and I slept in it so that I can film today and not have to do my makeup.
I've done that. I've done that before. I've gone on vacations and got my makeup done and try to it can last about a day and a half, and then you gotta wash your face.
Yeah, and it's not good. It's not recommended. It's not my dermatologist hates when I do that.
Yeah.
But
we've all had those days.
Yeah. So happy belated birthday to our girl Ivy.
Hey! Happy belated birthday.
You know,
we
it was
owe you
probably
a
the
dinner.
calmest birthday I've ever had in my life.
It was the what?
It was the calmest birthday I've ever had in my life. But, you know, it was full of love. Like, I made no plans on purpose just because I was just so, bummed about, this whole COVID thing and how it kind of, limits your friends from really being together and enjoying your birthday the way that you're used to. So I was just like, you know what? Beyond that point, I just had so much stuff going on in my life. I'm like, you know what? I'm just grateful to be alive. I don't want to make a big deal out of my birthday because honestly, my birthday is every day. And the fact that I get to just be alive and travel.
You heard her. She said her birthday every day.
I love that.
She turns up every day.
Turn my birthday into a lifestyle type shit.
I love it.
No, nobody celebrates more than Kendra G, though. Kendra, you're the queen of celebration, though.
I don't know. Ivy might got me covered, TT. I be watching Ivy on the gram. And do think like every day her birthday. So, real quick, I got to jump in. Somebody has a smoke detector battery.
Oh, God.
Is it you?
It's me.
Okay, so my dog, this is a true story. My dog has anxiety attacks. When I do my IG live, she goes crazy. So I got to move my dog somewhere because she would, in a sense, have an attack. She can hear it. Yeah, I know. I go through it at nighttime on my single show, and I literally have to switch the people because she gets really crazy. So she's the one that alerted me that I can start hearing it. So I'm going to put it in my bedroom. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
She literally has doggy.
I'm giving doggies anxiety attack. I can't.
I
got to fix
bad girl. Bad girl. Ivy, why don't you just change the damn battery?
But there is no battery. I had it's wires attached to it. There's no actual battery to replace. Okay. So I don't know what the hell.
How do you change it? Yeah, it's so crazy. So now I'm always alert. I'm like, y'all need to change our smoke detectors.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just have to replace the whole thing. But
okay,
yeah,
okay, we're good. I put it in my bedroom.
Okay. All right, so let's kick off today's show with Kendra G. Kendra, we have to talk about this Tory Lanez quarantine radio that he announced is coming back.
Yeah, man, quarantine radio was one of those big things that we had to look forward to in quarantine. It was literally quarantine radio versus, these were the big things people were finding. D-Nice, it was part of that lineage of things that were successful. Obviously, everything changed with Tory Lanez, reputation after that infamous night with Meg Thee Stallion. So here's the deal. Do I think people are going to tune into quarantine radio? I think they may tune in because it was ratchetness. It was, women. Yeah. It was a lot of the twerking, and believe it or not, there are some guys who stand on his side in this situation and some females.
I was going to say, there's some women who really stand behind Tory Lanez. I was actually watching his live when he went live to talk about the situation. And I was really surprised about how many women were in his comments talking about, you know, Megan is lying. There's more to the story. She hasn't really been 100% transparent. I support Tory Lanez. He has not been found guilty. Like, I was really shocked to see so many women backing Tory Lanez. So that makes me wonder, are we being too hard on him? Should we let the due process happen? You know, because sometimes the internet is the judge, the trial, the jury before it even makes it to court.
Absolutely.
Ivy, what you want to say?
I mean, I have two thoughts about this, right? One, for just the simple notion of protecting women, I am like, this is a terrible way that he's going about this situation, especially if he's had personal feelings or relations with Megan Thee Stallion. The way he handled it, in my opinion, was very distasteful. But whatever, that's beyond the black and white of it. And then we just really don't know what happened. There's so many different stories. I don't know what to believe, because what I need to believe is the facts, right? And there's a lot of missing parts for me where it makes it hard for me to believe, but I empathize with both parties. I don't want to choose a side, but I will say that both are like in the red for me right now until further notice. Going back to quarantine
I gotta ask you a question.
Gonna happen. What's up?
So do you think how she went about it was tasteful? Because they kind of did the same thing, right? They kind of both went on their lives and kind of told their version of the story, right? So was one person more tasteful than the other person?
I don't think there was even like levels to this tastefulness. It was more so like, it was just so messy at this point where it became something where Megan was so vulnerable that she ended up saying the actual words, Tory shot me. And that's what we have been trying to figure out, right? If that is true. I don't want to label her a liar. I don't want to say that she is telling the truth, because I don't know. We don't know. I'm hearing it was fragments of the bullet that went into her foot. It wasn't an actual bullet that went into her foot. It was something with the best friend, because the best friend and her don't follow each other on Instagram anymore. There's just a lot of layers to the story that has made it so confusing. But I think for both sides, she decided that this is the narrative she has to keep, and this is what she has to keep, and he has to go this way, and that's the way that he decided to go, and it's just all one big mess.
So what's your thoughts? Yeah, let me jump in. I got a couple things. So backtrack. When everything first happened, what happened was there was a video of Meg Thee Stallion, because remember, the police came. So we see her limping with blood. So that's really where a lot of questions were being had. Like, why is she bleeding? Why is she limping? If you recall, when Megan first came out, I mean, they did subtle things like her friends unfollowed Tory Lanez. Like, that happened. If you were an Instagram person checking follows, they saw that. She came out with a statement to clarify that she didn't have glass, because the rumor was she stepped on glass. That's why she was bleeding. She clarified that and said that she was in harm's way. I can't remember if the exact, I need to probably pull it up.
And she said somebody was intentionally trying to harm her.
Right, but she did say Tory Lanez then. I mean, Tory Lanez, the name then. Now, the rumor was at the time Tory did something, because Tory was arrested that night for a possession of a gun. So I felt when she didn't clear his name, she was, in a sense, saying it's him, because she didn't say his name right away. Now, when she went on live and got frustrated, to be clear, the reason she got frustrated and finally just said, Tory shot me, is because she said his publicist or people were trying to give a different narrative to what happened. So that made her so upset that she finally went on her live to just say, here's what it is, explain she was trying to protect him. You know, people, you know, we're in a situation this summer where, you know, cops are coming, black men are being shot and murdered. You know, she was trying to protect him, whatever the case may be. But she didn't come out right away and just say Tory shot her. Also, I feel as though Tory would have came out the next day and refuted her claims, I would be more understanding. Like, okay, because Tory was completely quiet. Now he's a social media person. At any given moment, the things he's doing now, he could have did then. Like, yo, like if you're blatantly innocent and I'm like, Ivy killed this person, Ivy did it, Ivy shot me, Ivy ain't gonna wait until she got a interview with Kanye or whatever big in her career. She gonna go on Instagram and say, listen, the rumors Kendra's saying about me are absolutely not true, whatever the case may be. So he's questioning the fact of her getting in the car. Everybody's behavior can be questioned to a certain degree. TT, in the beginning, you said something for the very first time in this podcast. I kind of thought maybe I should do that. When you said, should we just wait till they're in court and have their due process? And I think I'm leaning towards that at this moment. I do side with Megan more. Ivy, to your point of her not being shy or whether fragments, to me, that could be true. I've had this discussion and debate with other people, but fragment or not, if you were shooting a gun towards my feet in the direction I'm at, and a fragment hit it or a bullet, to me, it's the same damn thing.
I absolutely 100% agree with you on that. Regardless, fragment, bullet, whatever, if you was coming for me, you meant to shoot me.
Yeah, so like
period, no excuse to that.
But like you, when you said that you think he's handled distastefully, it's because you also, I think, like me, feel as though he is lying. Now, obviously, if he was telling the truth, nothing he's doing is distasteful. He's just, defending himself as people who believe his side of the story look at it. But I'm just happy there is an official court date, and hopefully these lawyers do their jobs and everybody is summoned, and then everybody has to stand and give their version of what happened.
Yeah, because what I don't like is how the internet is the jury, the trial, they will take something and want it. Charlamagne says this all the time. Gosh, what's it saying? A lie travels way more farther than the truth. Right? Because if something is put out there, people just want to hold on to that and believe that that is the truth. Right? So the internet has now become the judge, the trial, the jury, all in one. And we forget about the due process that everyone deserves in this country. That is the law. Like, everyone deserves their due process. And I say that on Megan's defense as well. And also in regards to Tory Lanez, because, if Megan's version of this is what happened and it is the truth, 100% he needs to pay for the crime that he allegedly committed. Point blank, period, no end of discussion. And that's my take on it.
Absolutely.
So so move it. So let's just move this right on along. I want to kick it to you, Ivy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So Birkin bags, they have been the latest topic of discussion. I don't know if I have to cut this off because I can't even unsee the meme I saw yesterday where they're like, you want a Birkin bag? And they like took a marker of the Burger King and made it a Birkin. That was funny. I
haven't seen that meme. Can you DM it to me?
I will.
I saw it too.
Stacks is good for that. Shout out to DJ
go to the Shade Room. The Shade Room has it up if you go check out the Shade Room.
Oh my God. So everybody has gotten the conversation, including Cardi B's husband, Offset, and Sweetie. She stated that if a man doesn't buy you a Birkin, then throw him away. And is this putting too much pressure on women to try and keep up?
Yeah, well, I think any woman, that's the problem we have with social media. Because with social media right now, we look at celebrities and what they're getting. But when all these girls watching, like, I'm a man to do that too. But they're forgetting some of the things that come out with the Birkin bag. STDs, other women,
control,
the baby mama. Two comes with the Birkin bag. He gonna cheat on you every now and then with the the Birkin bag come with a lot of other things that
that's what I hate about the internet is that it makes women feel they have to compromise themselves to get a Birkin bag. Yes, a Birkin bag is a beautiful thing, but at this point, y'all be making me not even want one. Y'all be devaluing the beauty of a Birkin bag. The Birkin bag is the most pristine luxury bag that you can have. And let me just be completely transparent with you guys.
How many Birkins?
A lot of them bitches, Birkin bags do not be authentic. Let me just put that out there because someone with money knows money. Like, and some things are just not for, look at me. Oh, I got to unbox it. Oh, it's a movie night. when you come from that, you don't do all of that.
But TT, you know, in hip hop, that's what we do though. Like everything in hip hop, when you get something luxury, you show it off. You know, you get a luxury car, you show it off, and then that's because a lot of times in hip hop, you're really coming from nothing to something, right? So it's like you're celebrating. Like, I can't believe I can now have a $40,000 bag. I'm gonna use Cardi B because you got the Cardi B sign right behind you, and we're doing this Zoom. You know, she's a perfect example. We watched Cardi truly go from nothing to something, right? To who she is now. And she's a person, I really feel like Cardi, for me, is what made the Birkin bag in this moment of a conversation. Her and the City Girls.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cardi more so than the City Girls, because Cardi Birkin collection is off the chain. And let me just tell you something. A Birkin bag does hold quality. For some people that are like, oh, it's a waste of money. No, the resale on a Birkin bag can make you a lot of money, because there is people that really collect Birkin bags and they hold on to them, and they like fine watches. They hold value over time. So the resale value, if you're a collector, you can make a lot of money off of Birkin bags. I know women who their collection is crazy and they have resold their bags for double the price that they have purchased them for. Okay. Or they handed them down to their daughters or whatever, and the value has increased tremendously on them. But my whole thing is like, you know, it's okay not to have a Birkin bag. It is okay not to have one. And I just feel like with social media, it's like you ain't it. Like, you know, when you don't got a Birkin bag, throw the whole man away. And that puts a lot of pressure on men too. Yeah. So Sweetie was like, oh yeah, if he ain't buying you Birkin bags, not all men can afford to buy a $40,000 bag just because of what the pressures of the internet is, you know. And it's okay if your man buys you a YSL bag, or if he can afford you something that you like that isn't luxury, then that's okay too. It's all about what holds value in your heart. And I just hate this thing with social media and women where it's this tremendous amount of pressure, you know, to keep up.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing you want to do, ladies, is have a Birkin bag and be in the back of the plane in seat 32B. You know, you even got a middle seat. So we gotta look at the leverage.
You look
stuff.
Stupid.
You know what
I'm not gonna hold you. You look stupid. I saw one time when I was on a plane, this girl, I ain't gonna lie, guys, she had the Chanel, the Louis roller. And I mean, sometimes, you know, first class is sold out. So let's just keep it a buck. You know, so some things you can't escape it. You know what I mean? But when it becomes like you have all this designer stuff and you can't even afford a nice vacation, like get your priorities together. You still, you know, living with roommates, like
I'm good on the Birkin.
But then maybe now I'm judging. Maybe now I'm judging. Maybe now I'm being judgmental.
I think
no, it's being real.
But listen, but here's what I always say, right? There's always someone that can look down on somebody else, right? So she talking about Birkin bags. Somebody could say, you fly first class, you don't fly private. Like, when does it end? Like, we're always gonna be, there's always somebody in life that's on another level than you. So just enjoy your level, be happy at your level, but don't down anybody that's on your level, because Beyonce can get up here. Think about how much Beyonce can stunt.
You don't fly private.
Like, Beyonce can stunt so hard and never does, and I think that's one of
never does. That's why I love her so much.
Yeah, like never does. And it was interesting is I really like Sweetie. Like, this summer made me like Sweetie more, all because of her personality. Now, I can't say her Birkin bag comment was bad for her because it caused a whole weekend conversation. So it made her part of a conversation. But I didn't think she was like that. I think she that's like, you know, luxury items. But I didn't think she was the type of girl that's like, if he ain't buying me a Birkin, I ain't with him. I didn't really get that from her. But
so then what are you with him for? So then that makes me think, like, what are you really with this dude for? Because the items are great. And trust me, I love beautiful gifts. Like, y'all already know how my closet and stuff look. I love to be pampered. Every woman loves to be pampered. But it has to be more to him than just what he can do for you what you can monetize from this man. Like, there has to be more to him than the dollars.
Do you think if he has like the money, and it's like, for instance, like Cardi B and Offset went to Birkin over the weekend and he posted the receipt and he literally spent $128,000 in Hermes. Now, just as an older person, I'm like, dang, they giving all these white people all this money, you know, all the money they're working for, but Offset is a millionaire multi. So to him, $128,000, if everything else is aligned, like house paid for, credit good, whatever the case may be, is that a bad buy if he can afford it like it's nothing? Because TT, there might be things you have that someone might say, oh, you have this expensive YSL purse. That doesn't make sense. Why would you have a $3,000 purse? So, but you want your purse.
Right. It's not bad if you have a lifestyle that you can maintain in that type of level. You know, I think it's more so, I think TT and I don't want to speak for you. I think we're speaking more so on the women who want all of that aren't there yet, you know, and it's about respecting the process. Like, Saweetie has a standard, like, this is the bare minimum for me because I could already do this for myself. So if you come in, like, for me, you better come correct and know the things that I like. And if a Birkin is what I like, then this is the things that I deserve.
Yes. And
girls be coming out of the woodwork like, where's the Birkin with your little Fashion Nova heels? Like, girl, get it together.
Yeah, but that's one part of it. But my other part is, don't devalue who you are because you're trying to chase something that someone else has. Be okay with the things that you work hard for and accomplish. And if that is not a Birkin yet, it's okay.
Aldo got some cute bags, sis.
But it's okay. I just, no, I say that because I have this conversation with my little sisters all the time. Like, they're like, oh my God, when am I gonna? And I'm like, enjoy your process. It's okay to be where you at and keep growing and growing, because growth takes time. To achieve a certain level of success takes time. It's not a microwave thing. It's not going to happen overnight. And so I guess that's what the real message that I'm trying to put out there is: don't get so caught up in what you see all over the internet that you lose sight of your journey and where you're supposed to be in your life, chasing something else. And I just, that's the message I really want to leave with the girls that are watching.
Right. And I think just overall too, like, you mentioned Charlamagne earlier, but we were talking the other day. It wasn't nothing to do about the Birkin, but he said a quote, and I'm not even sure if he created it, but I thought it was so cold. He was like, don't let your food get cold on your plate while you're looking at somebody else's plate. I fucked the quote all the way up. But basically what it's saying is, stop worrying about what other people are doing. Worry about your own shit. Focus on that. And that's the downfall. I'm happy I'm an older woman during the social media era because I'm stronger, I'm more wise. But to be 20 and like
seeing all of that
and thinking like, dang, to a certain degree, sometimes it still kind of mess with you because Sweetie's younger than me and I ain't got no damn Birkin bag. But guess what? I don't feel bad about that either.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to these young girls that are younger than us. It's almost as if they're competing against these millionaires or feel a need to like compromise who they are and be with these scumbag ass men because they're trying to get the Chanel and the Birkin. And it's like, no, you don't gotta do all of that. And you don't have to compromise yourself on your morals if that's not what you're with. And a lot of these young girls get so caught up in just the hype of wanting to be fly and have fly shit that they lose sight of that. And I'm always the one that's like, yo, pump the brakes and calm down. Like, you know, we didn't really start getting into our careers until well over 30, Kendra.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't start making real paper until after that.
Right. It's just, and that's the thing I think that is missing. But, you know, it's just really sad. But I think also too, so with all that being said, do you feel as though Sweetie has the right to say what she says, or is she supposed to have a responsibility to the people who follow her?
I honestly think that, you know, I don't hold any rappers to any type of responsibility because at the end of the day, they gonna say what they gonna say because they want to be cool. I mean, I just don't look at Sweetie as someone I'm looking up to. I just don't. I'm sorry.
I like her though. I really like her. I got more familiar with her social media wise this summer. But I wonder. I guess, like I said, again, a lot of Birkin bags because there's a lot of men like. And I don't want to. This ain't shade, right? But I'm gonna say this. Like if Beyonce had a Birkin bag, I wouldn't care because we know her work ethic. She works her ass off. We see how she does it. So one of Floyd Mayweather's baby mamas posted her Birkin collection, and this is gonna sound shady, but I'm like, child, no, I don't want none of those Birkin bags because I already know what the
price. You knew the price for those that she paid for those.
Yes, it's worth more. It costs more than $40,000. That's just the price of how much the bag costs. But all the other shit you got to go through to get all those bags, you can have it. It ain't worth it for me.
Yeah. So speaking of morals, since we're on this topic, I DM'd Kendra this video because I was just kind of appalled by the rapper Suki from Florida. She's also on Love and Hip Hop Miami, so you guys might be familiar with her. She has a good buzz.
She was on
WAP video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she has a good buzz. So she posted on her social media page this video of her giving her man head. And she actually...
her social media page or her OnlyFans page?
No, she posted like a clip on her social media page. That's why I was able to send you the clip where you could see the splash on her face. So she basically was giving him head. She was giving him, deep throating him so hard that she kind of gagged on it and threw up a little bit. And then he sprayed the face.
Let me go to it. So
I DM'd you this.
Is it the act? But real quick, is it the act?
Yes, it was the act, and she was trending all over media. I mean, all over social media, on Twitter, Instagram. Like she immediately started trending because people were like, "Whoa!" But if you know her, she's very sexually out there and sexually vulgar, and you know. Then she went after she received the backlash. She went on her Instagram and she was like, "Well, you know." You bitches be doing this for free and y'all don't even have businesses, because after he splashed all over her face, he was like, yeah, now I'm gonna go buy you that store you want, and I'm gonna go buy you whatever it is, start that business you want, or whatever. And she was like, you know, thanking him for, you know, agreeing to buy her these things. And then after she received the backlash, she was like, oh, is it a more responsibility? Y'all be fucking all these men and y'all don't be getting nothing for it, and blah, 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 because she received a lot of backlash from it. So my question to you ladies is, you know, what you do in your bedroom, should that be private? Is that going too far? Because when I saw the picture, I DM'd it to you. I was like, whoa.
So for the first time ever, I just kind of clicked on it more. I knew of the story, but I knew what people were talking about, but I never let my own eyes witness it. Oh my God. Listen, here's the deal. If she was a porn star and we was on a porn site, then that's what it is, because you're signing up to see that, right? I don't follow her on Instagram. I won't be following her on Instagram. I thought it was more of an OnlyFans situation. I don't like it. You know, to me, it's TMI. But again, the question of in your bedroom, like I said, if she was a porn star, there's porn sites where people do that, and you go there for that, right? But do I want to be on my Instagram page and see the aftermath of what you just did to your man? No, I don't want to see it. It makes me gross out, and to me, it's gone too far.
Ivy,
I don't want to play devil's advocate here, but as somebody who follows Sukiyana on Twitter, you have to understand that this is like the life that she lives. This is her lifestyle, right? Okay. Like she's very sex positive. She's very like, she loves to be sexy. She loves to be freaky. She a freak hoe, you know? And she's very pro freak hoes, because those are an existing tier of women, right? So for me to see that, I wasn't shocked, but I was like, damn, bitch, like what the fuck? Get your stuff, you know, respect. You have to respect it for who she is and what she does. But I do it not on camera.
I mean, we've all done freaky stuff to our man. Let's keep it a buck. I'm married here, so I don't have a choice but to be the freak hoe in the bedroom for my husband. Like, that's a 100% fact, you know, and I love to be nasty for my husband. But it comes a time a time and a place. But I just feel like we live in a world now where people feel the need to always have to overshare.
Well, again, like I said, so Ivy's more familiar with her than I am. So what she's saying basically, this is who she is. So I don't follow her, right? So I'm a big person too. Like, if I don't follow you, like if you like something I post, then don't follow me. Like, I'm not forcing you to follow me. You can control who you follow on social media. You know, but then you think about it, okay, she gave the act, but we all love Cardi B. I remember one of the first things I seen with Cardi B before she came out with she was like a personality, and she was on her Instagram, and she was saying that her vagina tastes like 7-Eleven Slurpee. But she didn't say vagina, she said the other word, like my pee tastes like a 7-Eleven Slurpee.
Pussy, by the way, Kendra won't say it.
I'm not gonna say it. But it was so funny, right? So where do we draw the line? You know, Meg Thee Stallion gets a lot of flack for twerking all the time. People think twerking is very sexual. So it's almost like, I kind of see what you're saying, Ivy. For me, what Suki did, that would be too much. Like, that's not my type of party, right? It's just not. But if people follow her and they know what they're getting into, then, you know, it works.
I feel like if it was like me, like the video was me, that would have caused a big ass splash of shock factor. It was a shock factor because that was probably like the peak of her content. But she has always teased content like that on her timeline. So it kind of blended in right with everything that she posted. It's just that for people who are still getting to know her, as I am as well, this is the type of time she's on.
Yeah, she's always been on that type of time. But let me play devil's advocate here as someone who does follow her, and I know that's what she's always been about. Is there such thing as going too far though? Like it or does that not exist anymore? Is it now because of the internet? It's a free for all.
Yeah.
You know, wow, it's crazy. I don't know. Like I'm thinking about television. Like you watch television. Remember there was a time when the guy's frontal wasn't shown. And now, like I was watching P-Valley, which was a hit over the summer. And one thing they were known for is that they had a frontal scene. I've also been seeing, you know, obviously, and we have no problem with the LGBT community, but I've been seeing more movies having more sexual scenes with same sex. And I think there used to be, before it was like they're kind of walking up to it. Now I'm seeing a lot of more same sex gay scenes on television. And I just feel like, I don't know, maybe we are moving into a space where nothing is off limits anymore.
Yeah. But does it go back to what we were talking about earlier? Now women feel pressure to open up a store. They got to gag on the dick and they got to throw up on it.
Well, I hope they don't feel that pressure. I don't feel that pressure.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's up to them to figure out. And I just wanted to reel it back with, you know, the comment or the question that you asked TT about Saweetie's responsibility, because I think it's also keeping a balance of sticking to who you are and being who you are and understanding that there are little girls who follow you. But like, I remember Cardi B, when she became like the star, you know, before our eyes, she said like, I don't want to be a role model. I wanted to be me. And that's how I got here, you know? So I'm not telling your kids, follow my lead, but they choose to follow my lead, and that's up to them. What they choose to take from me is what they take from me, right? And sometimes as celebrities, you always got to think in the back of your mind, is this okay for me to say? Like, that's literally a job. Like, you have to watch what you say, right? Yeah. And it's finding the balance between like, fuck it, I'm gonna just be me and have the freedom to say what I want, versus knowing what I could say could cause consequences, right? So damn, I forgot the point that I was getting to. But all of that being said and done, a lot of these girls who watch the people like Cardi B and Saweetie and Sukiyana, they develop this complex of like insecurity because they feel like they have to catch up or they have to do this type of stuff to get the type of man that they want. But it's really about owning who you are and knowing what you have, right? So it has to do a lot of like homework within self. But a lot of women, or a lot of people for that matter, are not teaching that.
Of course not. Because it's a microwave day and age. They're not teaching the hard work, but behind the gagging on the dick and behind all of that, there is probably a woman who works really, really hard. And you may not get to see that work ethic because all you see is the sexuality
being
overshadowed. So success, I just want to drive this home again. Success takes hard work, man. There's no easy route to it.
Unless you're Blue Ivy and you just happen to be lucky to come out of Beyonce and Jay-Z's creation.
Facts.
or you one of the Kardashian kids or Stormy's child or any of Kim Kardashian's kids. Those kids gonna be successful without hard work, TT.
Oh yes, unless you come from a generation of that, you know what I mean? But I just want to just say that, you know, we get so caught up in taking the easy way out that we don't want to put in the work, and we want to do the instant thing, but those things come with a price.
One would say Suki was working hard. She was putting in work. That could be challenged, TT. What type of work when you say hard work? Because it was hard and she was working.
Speaking of, let's move this right on along then. Speaking of work, marriage is work. And I know, Kendra, you are a Cardi B fan, and she got into a whole argument with her fan base about taking her husband back, Offset, after she filed for divorce. How do you feel?
I thought you were going to say Kendra's a married woman now. I was about to be like, hold up.
No, but she will be soon.
She basically is now.
She will be soon.
The next show.
That's a whole nother conversation, right? You know, okay, so I was a person, I felt like Cardi B was cussing me out because I was cussing her out on the radio. Like, look, I'm tired of you playing crying wolf when it comes to your marriage. Now, one thing she did say is that she didn't make it public that she went to the courthouse in Atlanta. The court clerk sold that to the media, and that's how the world found out. And then she responded to, you know, the world knowing that she had filed for divorce from Offset.
Right.
Then she gave us the video saying all the stuff again, how she needs to leave him and she wasn't happy, all the stuff. And then we see her birthday, and he pulls out a Rolls Royce and he shot her out on Instagram, and they got the whole birthday weekend together. So we realizing like, oh, maybe she's not leaving him after all. And as a fan, it was irritating to me because she cried wolf about a year and a half ago, Offset. And then they got back together. So I was a fan on the radio like, listen, I'm tired of it. If you file for divorce again, I'm not even going to believe you because it's the second time you done filed for divorce and retracted your statement and been with Offset. Now, of course, Cardi B has the right to be irritated with me and whoever else felt the way I felt because she's just human. She's living her life. Mm-hmm. But that's what happens when you're a celebrity. You know, we're invested in everything that you do.
Well, that's that old saying, stay out of marriage people business, is true to fact in this case. You know what I mean? No marriage is perfect, especially when you marry young. So for me, I expect them to break up a few times and get back together. You know what I'm saying? Because marriage is a lot of work. And if you have these moments where you're calling it quits, and to her defense, she was not the one to make the story public.
I did say that. She didn't she responded to it public. But real quick, she don't get a pass because we talk about every married celebrity's business. Will and Jada, we'll have to do a whole Facebook, our confession, T.I. and Tiny, like everybody who's married, we have scrutinized. So her Offset don't get that pass. A lot of celebrities' marriages, we have scrutinized. So she could feel away, but just know that comes along, unfortunately, with you being a celebrity. Jada Pinkett had to go on a Facebook Live with her husband, talk about the man she cheated with. And they had already had this discussion. They had to do that because the fan base is like, no, you got a whole red table talk yourself. And you know, and she honored that because she understood if I'm gonna have this show and dive in on everybody's personal life, I gotta be the same for me.
You know, I guess I'm more
because you're a wife. That's why.
I'm a wife, and I understand what it takes to really be married. And number two, I'm very protective of Cardi in a way. I don't know why I'm like this with her, but I just feel like Cardi comes from the hood of the hood, you know, and she has grown so much in the past few years since the very beginning of who Cardi B was. So I just feel like she's still in the growing phases, you know, and she's still incredibly young. And for me, I give her space to grow because I know that she has a lot more growing to do. So I guess that's why I'm a little bit more overprotective of her. And maybe because she's from the Bronx too.
No, my thing is this. Let's be clear. I love Cardi as well too, and I also do understand what you're saying as she has more growing to do. And I also understand her reason. She was saying like he's her best friend. It's hard and to talk to your best friend. You have a child with this person, so that's always difficult because I sincerely, the way I've always been able to move to guy is I will cut you off completely. Like I don't believe in having conversations with your exes because that makes it difficult to move on. Now, if you have a child, that's a whole conversation. You got to communicate. And then she mentioned something about not having any penis, right? That's another conversation we got to talk about because, you know, men, they have the ability and no shame in just having sex. They have the liberty to go meet her. And Offset is rich, so his vagina pool is high. Girls is going to be beautiful. You know, he could go, you don't have to, that's not going to lack. For Cardi B, she could do the same too. She get her little model guy that could D her down good, but at the same time, what is he coming with? Is he gonna sell her out? Is he gonna talk about it to the blogs? You know, can she trust him?
And sex might be a little bit more emotional for her at this point. You know what I mean? And she might not just want to give her body to just anyone outside of her husband because they have that emotional connection with each other at this point.
And that would just open a big book of worms because you're going to be so comfortable with outsourcing, you're just never going to come back to the source.
Good point.
But sometimes, I mean, I believe Offset loves Cardi B. I really do. I don't know what her reason was for filing for divorce this time. She downplayed that he got somebody else pregnant. So that was a rumor that was circulating. But I think he loves her in the way he knows how to love. Now, the question she has to ask is...
Say that because that's a jewel. That is a jewel. I still love her jewel. Say that again. Ding, ding, ding.
He loves her in the way he knows how to love.
The question is she loves him in a way that she only knows how to love at this point.
But I think just overall with the Jew aspect for anybody watching, sometimes a man really is loving you the way he knows how to love and really might feel to the highest extent of love. But what you got to ask yourself is that love enough for you? Because someone can be doing their best, but you have the right to say that your best is not enough for me. I've learned that before when I dealt with a guy who really told me he was doing his best. And I had to sit back and say, I guess this is his best. He treats me better than the other girls, but this ain't enough, bro.
Like this, and you have to cut him off. And you have to cut him off.
You're preaching the good word, sis. You're preaching the good word.
Yeah, and then at that moment, I think a lot of times, I've been talking about this a lot lately because I'm starting to really blame a lot of women for the state of dating right now. And it's our fault because we have lowered the value of who we are so much. Like back in the day, if you cheated on your girl, the girl was never either prettier or didn't have more to offer. Now, women are beautiful, smart, educated, but when it comes to dating, are tolerating so much. So men don't feel like they got to rise to the occasion. Like, why I got to rise to the occasion is you. Yeah, Ivy, you beautiful, but this other girl, she might not be as career focused as you, but she's cute too. And she ain't going to back talk. So I'm going to just stay there with her. Women, we got to stop. I always say this. If you want a relationship, don't have sex unless you're in a relationship. Don't have sex with your friends. Now, if you want to just get yourself off, have a good time, so be it. Do you. But then don't get mad when you're not in a relationship and you don't get to do relationship things like Thanksgiving dinners or holiday plans or whatever the case may be. You can't have it both ways. Now, you got to be a big girl and sign up for what you're signing up for. And if you can't handle it, get out the room. It's my bad. You made it clear you wasn't trying to wipe somebody up. That's what I want. You don't want it. I gotta be out. But girls don't do that. He ain't shit. F him. Yada yada yada. But he told you that from the beginning.
And you're trying to pull up at this point. It really doesn't make sense. It's really not what he signed up for. And you can't force a man to do what you want him to do. He's going to do it in his timing unless you're worth changing.
Your man, sis, it's not happening.
When he wants to, let me tell you something. When a man wants to change for you, trust me, he will. Because I dated my husband when I was younger. I probably was 19, 20. And I thought he was going to be all of these things. No. We didn't get back together until years later. And he was everything that I wanted in my life at that point. But it took him wanting to change. It took him wanting to be the man that I deserve. So you can't force no man to do it unless he genuinely wants to do it for you. First, he got to love himself enough to say, I want to change. I love myself enough to be this different person. And then once he has that inner self-love, then he can be the man that you want him to be. But he has to want to do it on his own.
Yeah. Yep. And I believe in law of attraction too. Like, again, I'm talking from experience. So these are things I had to go through to learn. But I think sometimes women don't ever want to take the responsibility for the roles that they play. Like, I before was dealing with an athlete, and I went through so much shit. Like, I went through things that I can't even believe I tolerated when it came to disrespect. But if I'm going to be honest with myself, this is when I was like, really, like, this is my Jay-Z Beyonce story. Like, he the athlete, I'm the girl on the radio. It's like, but I'm paying such a disrespectful price. And literally it ended when the disrespect was no more closet disrespect. Because everything starts levels. When guys be testing you and like, oh, I get away with this. Oh, okay, I can get away with this. Oh, okay, I get away with this. And then it started becoming embarrassing to the fact where it's like, now if I stay with this man or continue to mess with this man, people are going to look at me like I'm crazy. Because it's not even a secret, the blatant of the disrespect. But at that time, in my mind, it's like, oh, I want this Jay-Z Beyonce story, you know.
You want the image. Yeah,
you know, he pulls up in his Bentley and I'm the girl on the radio. Like, but no. And at some point in time I had to honor the fact that I didn't have the best intentions. And then I had to honor the fact, okay, now that I know what I did wrong, let me never make that mistake again and move forward.
Yeah. So we definitely got to wrap this show up. But before we wrap up, I want to talk about early voting because we are about to approach election day, November 3rd. And in some states, early voting has now kicked off. I voted this past weekend in New York. It was early voting.
Go TT.
I took my little brother. He's a first-time voter. I took my nephew. He's a first-time voter. My mom, of course, came out and voted. My sister. I made it a family affair. It was like 5 of us that came out and voted this past weekend here in New York. We had our mask on. We social distance. The line was long, don't get me wrong, but it moved rather quickly. But we didn't get frustrated, wasn't tired. We went to Dunkin' Donuts beforehand, bought our little snacks. And we did our civic duty. And let me tell you, my nephews, they were like so happy. They felt proud of themselves. They were like, yo, this feels good. So before we go today, I definitely want to encourage people to get out there, exercise their right to vote. Kendra, I don't know about Chicago if they have early voting.
I voted already. I voted last week. So I definitely did early voting. Took 5 minutes. It was so fast. I'm so happy I did it. So happy I voted early because I was just like, no lines. And now let's just see what's going to happen next week, honey.
Yeah, next week.
Let's see what's
Get out there and vote, y'all. Stop playing with them.
Get out there and vote.
Don't think it's a sure end on nobody's case. You know, don't think like, oh, for sure he won't get reelected, or don't think for sure he will get reelected. I would say vote, even though that's a whole other conversation. Vote.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I watched the HBO. Not to go off tangent, they had the breakdown when Al Gore and Bush were. Remember with that whole
and we were out of president for so long.
But the whole situation that happened in Florida with the votes that was really going to determine. But it was so much BS in the documentary. I can't even believe they were able to get away with it because it's literally like he essentially stole the election. So I can see how people could not feel certainty at times, but at the same time, you got to get out and vote. You have to.
Only way to ease that uncertainty is to cast your vote, because then you can say, I did my part.
Right.
I participated in a democratic process. I did my part. And so please exercise your right to vote. And we want to take this time to say thank you for joining us today. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. You can click the link right here and subscribe. The I Still Love Her podcast. Kendra G, Ivy Rivera, and TT Torres. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Look, I'm choking in the middle of this live.